So, welcome back. Welcome to the second video. This is hopefully a second class, and hopefully you've done your homework. To recap, what we're doing now is pure idea generation, hopefully getting you through the process of one of the techniques to come up with an idea for your business, which is basically working around what you're interested in, what your interests are, thus what your expertise is, thus what would make a good business idea for you. I want to talk about a couple of previous winners or previous entrants down through the years that'll give you a feel for how this interest or idea can become a business. The first person is Tara. This is about 10 years ago. Tara came from Dublin. Tara was, one of her interests was fashion. And Tara liked, I don't know Tara, and I'm assuming, but Tara liked good clothes, she liked fashion. She couldn't, like all of us, afford the things she really wanted. So what she did, you may be familiar, some of you, of Louboutin, the red sole designer shoes. She wanted those shoes, she couldn't afford those shoes. So what she did was she said, right, I'm gonna get some sticky red plastic and a blade, and I'm gonna get my cheaper high-heeled shoes from Penny's or wherever, and stick them on the bottom and cut them round, and there I've got my red sole shoes. She did this for herself. Her friends liked it. Her friends asked, will you do it for me? She did. Then she started the Student Enterprise Programme. She entered it with her school. And she thought, hey, here's an idea for a business. So what she did was, I'll cut a long story short, what she ended up with was nice pretty box with a bow. You got to choose 3 colors. That she had polka dot, she had stripe, she had purple, she had silver, she had the original red. You chose the colors, a blade came with it. You bought them in the nice pretty box. You paid 10, 15 euro and you walked away. You went home, you got your shoes, you stuck them on. They look great. When I met her in May at the national finals, she'd already turned over 65,000 euro. By the following year, she was exporting to 12 different countries. So she did very well. The point is, she was interested in fashion. She saw a problem to be solved, and that's the key. When you're coming up with the idea, it has to solve a problem for someone. It has to create a solution, and if it's a good enough solution, people will pay you for it. The second is very different, a girl from Wicklow. She was actually the following year, and I really liked her idea because it was so different to Tara's, and it wasn't technology and it wasn't anything like that. This girl, whose name escapes me at the moment, she was into craft, arts and craft. She was from Wicklow. Her video actually is on the studententerprise.ie and you can watch it. And they liked, whenever they went on holidays, bringing home a keepsake from where they went. And she thought, God, Wicklow should have that. So what she did, she had hand-drawn baubles, which she drew them herself and she sold them in the local shops. As simple as that. And the images she drew were of like famous places in Wicklow, like Glendalough or stuff like that. And it was that simple because of something she took from her life that they as a family used to do, combined that with her skills in arts and crafts, and she made a business. And she won, Tara before also won, they both won the overall national award. 2 very different ideas, 2 very different people, 2 very different businesses, but they both won because they both took something from their lives and said, how can I solve a problem and make a business out of this? Now we'll go a bit more local. These boys are from St. Declan's in Kilmacthomas. And again, it's about 10 years ago now. So the technology actually that they used has advanced since then. But to go back to what we spoke about with pets, every Halloween, there's fireworks. and you always take in your dogs and your cats so they don't run away. And depending on the kind of cat or dog you have, maybe they'll run away any other day. But they saw there was a market in runaway pets. So what they did was, this was at the start of GPS technology, they got a collar and put a GPS tracker on it and sold them for your pets. So when your pet ran away, you could track them and find them and get them back. And it was an extremely simple new use for this technology that wasn't so new. Now things have moved on since then, and we've got chips and all of that kind of thing. But my point is, they picked something within their life again, something they knew. They saw a problem, they solved the problem, and they made a business out of it. And they won, I think they won Best Innovation nationally. So these things are really important, to see what's in your life and make a business out of it. Finally, we've got Cathal Daly. Cathal went to De La Salle. Cathal was into cycling and Cathal was into woodwork. And Cathal started the Student Enterprise Awards thanks to the local enterprise office. And he had to come up with an idea. So he looked at the two things in his life, cycling and woodwork. And he realized, and he had nowhere to put, like these bikes cost 800, 900, 1,000 euro. So you can't leave them up against a radiator. You can't let him lean them against the lawnmower in the garage. You have to look after them. So what he made was, in woodwork, was 2 bits of wood and a bit of wood across the top. He got a little clip for the top of it to put the pedal of the bike on, and he made an upright cycle stand. That's what his business was called, upright cycle stands. Now, he didn't just make it and try and sell one. He made it and he did some research, and he went to Altitude up in Ballybricken, and he asked up there, what do you think of this? Should it be heavier? Should it be wider? What should it look like? What works? What doesn't work? And he made some changes. He went to his friends in the cycle club and he asked them, how much do you think I should charge for this? And he did his research, and he ended up making them in woodwork in school, selling them to club members in Waterford and around Ireland. By the final, he'd sold about 40 or 50 of them. He won the national final, he won the Waterford final and went to the nationals and ended up winning the whole thing. This student from De La Salle who was into cycling and woodwork, again, looked within his life, came up with an idea that solved a problem and made a business out of it.
My name is Charlotte Balfe, and I'm the founder and owner of Handy Hurleys. I go to school in Art School in Mara in the seaside town of Tramore and play for Butlerstown GAA Club in Waterford. I came up with the idea because I've played camogie my whole life, and so have the rest of my family. I tried to find a hurley stand that could hold all of our hurleys neatly. I couldn't find one, so I decided to make my own. That's how Handy Hurleys was born. Other stands are made of metal, which harm the hurleys. Mine are made from recycled wooden pallets. Other stands sit on the floor and take up too much room. Mine are neat and tidy and fixed to the wall. Most other stands are over €50 and too expensive in my opinion. Mine are €25 each, which research tells me is affordable and still makes me a good profit. I chose a business idea connected to something I love. I found a problem to be solved and a solution for it. I created a product and a business, and I made money along the way. So, what's next? I'd like to continue with my business. I plan to approach a hurley maker and manufacturer to help me keep up with my demand. My aim is to see my Handy Hurley stand for sale in sport shops and clubs as soon as possible. The best advice I was given was to be confident in myself and what I have done. The advice really helped me to be enthusiastic about the product I've put so much time, energy and thought into. I really enjoy the Student Enterprise Programme. It has taught me lots of new skills like craftsmanship, time management, marketing, organisational and social skills. I found learning how to communicate my story to suppliers and customers has been really important. I'm grateful for this opportunity as it has given me the courage to take the first step into setting up my own business.
So now we go back to the lotus blossom technique. You have your sheets, your homework hopefully done. You can see the sheet there with you in the middle. Your 8, I gave you 8 in the last session that were just a standard 8 for students in Waterford, as per my experience. But hopefully we have your 8 areas of interest or expertise around you in the center. What we do now is we move each of those into the outer grids. We move each 8 of those into the outer grids, and for each of them we have to come up with possible areas that are an activity connected to this. But remember, I spoke about pets, and our guys from St. Declan's got their business from this area, and it's a huge growth area worldwide. So I'm going to just pick that, and if you see, I have pets as one of my 8, and I've moved that out to the outer grids. And now I need 8 possible activities or areas connected with pet ownership. So for instance, what do we do with our pets? We walk our pets. We feed our pets. So pet food is a possible business. Pets need training, depending on if you have a goldfish, but pets need training. So that's another area. Within training, or just because you love them, they need treats. So pet treats are another possibility. Every pet poos, so dealing with pet poo is an issue. I have a dog, I have a cat, I have 2 hens, so this is a big issue in our household. Some pets need shelter, so the shelter for my dog or my hens is important. We've already said that we love our pets. And depending on your family member as to how much they love their pets, or depending on the pet themselves. So maybe memories, pet memories, because we last longer than them usually, you know? So maybe that's a possible activity or business area. And how many have we got? We have 7 now. So the last one, grooming. Grooming is a possible business for pets. So we have now 8 possible business ideas, or areas even. You could do this again for each of those, but let's just keep to those 8 for pets. And I've got 7 others. I'm not going to waste your morning going through my 8 for each of the 8 or each of the other 7. But if I did, I would have 64 potential business ideas. Now what I need you to do is, for your 8, move them out and write down 8 for each of those, whether it be school or family or sports or food or TV or whatever. Whatever your interests, whatever your areas of expertise are. I need you to do that for the rest of this class when I'm finished the video. And then you will have 64 potential business ideas. And don't mind if they double up, that's okay. If you have the same thing for 2 different areas, that's fine. The key is to get past the first 3 or 4 ideas and get to the 8, because that forces you to think beyond your comfort area, and it forces you to come up with potential businesses. So now you have your possibly 64 business ideas. What we need to do is reduce them. We need to cut them down to what's feasible and what isn't. And the first question you need to ask yourself is, what ideas appeal to you? This is all about you. This is your business. What ideas interest you? What ideas do you think, oh, well, that could be something I could get my teeth into, you know? So this gets very subjective. But when you see the 64, you'll immediately cut out half of them straight away because they have no interest for you. And then you need to ask yourself, well, the pertinent question, can I make money from this? Is like, because the difference between a business and a hobby is making money. So, and that's the crux to what the Student Enterprise Programme does. And that's what the local enterprise office does for adult and student businesses. It gives them the facility to grow and to make their business better. So, can you make money for this? And how do you know if you can make money for it? You prove it to yourself. You ask yourself the ultimate question, the only important question: who will my customers be? Who will hand over their money to me in order to solve this problem or get this product? So you need to be very specific. And this is really important down the line as well. When you're doing your marketing, you need to work out who your customers are so you can speak to them. When you're selling, you need to work out your customers are, who they are, and why they buy from you. So you can trigger that by saying, well, this is important to you because blah, 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 blah. So this is possibly the most important question. Who will your customers be? And why? And that will help you cut down the 64 to 32 to 16 to 8 to 4. So, and finally, the one thing I found over the years is your idea needs to be as simple as possible. You think you have all year to do this, but you don't. And time will pass, and it's a busy year, and we've spoken about that. So you need a simple idea. And the only way for you to know if it's a simple idea is, can it be easily explained? If you can explain your idea in 2 or 3 lines to your parents or your sisters or your teacher or whoever, or your supplier or the person you want to buy from, or want you to buy from you. If you can explain the idea in 2 or 3 lines, and it's a simple idea, and that's really important, and that'll get you over the line and get you selling by the end of November. So this will hopefully help you reduce those 64 options to just one, the one that's right for you or your group. And this brings us back to the original question of the session in the last video. Why are you doing this? Are you doing this for the money? Are you doing this because it interests you, because you want to achieve something? Are you doing it for the program and to win an award? But as I said, independent, it's your choice, it's your business. I've seen businesses that sold caps or calendars and made thousands. They weren't really interested, but the groups didn't care. They said, this is only about money. I've seen groups that were all about creating something new and innovative, and it took them a lot longer to get to market, to get selling. But when they did, they owned a new product. One group were into, 6-7 years ago, they were into horse riding. And horses, when they're being transported, need their tails bandaged. So apparently, I don't know anything about this, but apparently there's lots of bandages involved with traveling with horses. And they have to wind up the bandages afterwards. So what this group did, they got those salt cellars, the big long ones, and you press the button and it grinds the salt. They adapted one of those and put a clip on the bottom and made it into a bandage wrapper, can you believe? It wrapped the bandage in 5 seconds, what would normally take 50 seconds. And it took them a long time to make it properly and adapt it and patent it, which is important. And they didn't sell a lot, but they got to the final and they got an award for Best Innovation, or was it a Merit Award in the Nationals. And they sold their business. I don't know what they sold it for, it's none of my business, but they ended up selling the patent. So they did it for a different reason than the guys selling the hats, or that was just for money. And I don't care what your reason is. What I want is for you to get something out of this yourself, to do it for your reasons because it's your business. and me and your teachers are just there to help you and encourage you and guide you. So, this video is coming to a close now, you'll be delighted to hear, but what I'm hoping you'll do for the rest of class now is work on getting those 8 areas in your life to 64 potential business ideas. And then by, as we said, setting deadlines by the end of September to choose one of those business ideas to be your business that will make you money, and you worked out who your customers will be. So that's your target for the rest of this class. Just as a wrap up, just some tips. Remember, I spoke about setting yourself deadlines and sticking to them. Don't forget that. That's really important. End of September, we spoke about coming up with a business idea. Business development for October, researching, getting the product, working out your branding, all of those things. So in November, you can market your business and you can start selling. The business report for December, really important, first draft. And the whole time, studententerprise.ie is a fantastic website. Please make the most of it. Work as a team. It will be tempting for the 4 of you to sit down and do the same thing the whole time. Fine, idea generation, you should do that together. But then split up jobs. One of you work on researching, one of you work on the logo or the name, one of you work on something else, and then come back and meet up and give the feedback. The hardest thing you'll find to do, and I have 2 teenage children myself, is to make decisions. It's really hard to commit to a course of action, to commit to a name, to commit to a business. It's really hard because then you're setting yourself up for failure, and there's the fear of failure. So I've seen too often businesses say, oh, well, we're still doing research and we're still working out and we still think and they kick and they can down the road, and suddenly it's December and they're only coming up with their idea maybe soon. It's really tough, but it's really important. Make a decision and move on. Make a decision and move on. And if you've made a mistake, that's fine. That's fine to be wrong. It's fine to make a mistake, realize you've made a mistake, and move on again. Make a new decision and move on. Set your deadlines, make decisions, move on. At the start of the first video, you saw the girls from Newtown that won the year before last. They won the county final the year before last. That was in the midst of COVID. But it was a benefit to them because they sold jewellery, and with all due respect, they would say as much as anyone, there's enough jewellery in the world. But, so it wasn't a unique idea, it wasn't an original, innovative idea. But what they did do was they adapted. They adapted really well. And when they couldn't sell face-to-face because of COVID restrictions, they went online. And in the end, they'd sold to 5 continents, 12 different countries. They'd sold to every county in Ireland online. They really adapted, and they really did so well by transitioning online. I'm asking you and pleading with you, find a way, when you work as a team and you divide up your work, one of you work out how to sell your product or service online, because it will make you more money, it'll make life easier. Your business will be more successful by broadening that market. When you're deciding on your business idea, ask yourself, can we sell this online? And there will be phases. Usually I find there's always a lull in November where some of you are on work experience or there's trips or suddenly it gets darker and you've lost the energy you have at the start, like right now. But never give up. Try and keep your enthusiasm going. Keep setting deadlines. It's so important to get to make that first sale because that will re-energize you. If you can get those first sales by the end of November, it will re-energize you and keep you going. And lastly, as I said before, ask for help. It does not make you look weak, or everyone knows right now you're not business people. But we're hoping that you will become business people by the end of this program, and that's the whole point. And that means learning, and that means accepting that you need help. And all the facilities are there to help you. The resources, the website, the videos, myself, your teachers, loads of people you know, and everyone just wants to help you. So don't be afraid to ask. And that includes me coming out to your class, me coming out to speak to you and ask questions and give you my thoughts and your ideas. So your teachers have my contact details. I'm more than happy to come out, visit your class and talk you through each stage of running your own business. I wish you good luck. I hope you really enjoy this program. Don't forget studententerprise.ie, and your teachers have all the contact details and all the access to resources. Thank you so much.